All right. Good morning, everyone. For Good morning to everybody, and thank you for joining us today. We are actually doing FOMO Friday Live today as a live stream. We do spaces, but today we will be doing a live stream. So super excited to get this kicked off. We will have people joining slowly here. Bits of Wealth will be joining us here shortly. Kelvin is already here, so I'm super excited for the first FOMO Friday live stream. I know there is a lot of things that we talk about, and sometimes it can be challenging to kind of go over the charts, as we are talking about it, and then for you to kind of sync up all of the information that you're getting from us and then apply it to the chart. So it's a lot easier when we show you what we are talking about live. So this is going to be an exciting day today. We are still waiting for a few more people to join in. I'm going to also send the invite out to different communities, see if we can get more people up here. Um, Also, want to just a quick housekeeping item here. We will, anything we say today on FOMO Friday stream, or really any stream, it's not financial advice. We are just sharing our opinion about the markets. It's just for educational purposes only. Nothing that is said here is financial advice. But please do your own research on any projects that may be shared during the conversation. FOMO Friday is not sponsored, so this is going to be pretty much unbiased opinion from most of us. And yeah, we are excited to get this kicked off. Kelvin, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. I'm kind of excited to try this out myself. I don't do very many live streams anymore. I used to, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've become a hermit. I just sit in my little studio and trade away, or just go
Oh,
golfing and let my bots do it all. So that's kind of how it works.
yeah.
Golfing, let's
No.
go.
Hey, William, how are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Oh,
Well, this is exciting. I am like super excited today to get this kicked off because we usually do FOMO Friday spaces. And for the first time, I decided that let's just move over to a live stream because, a lot of us like to share our charts and everything else. And so, it makes sense to do a live stream instead of just a bunch of us talking about the charts when we have those charts up and then
exactly.
for everybody else to kind of. But how is everything going with you?
Well, with me, everything's fantastic. My baby girl is on the way in March. Really, really excited about that. First time father. Yeah, I know that's I'm bullish. I'm bullish on that. The charts not so much. But I'm optimistic. I think we're due for another leg down here in the near term. But over the course of 2026, I think we'll hopefully find some key levels of support and start rallying at some point in the year. Just based on a lot of macro factors as well as the charts themselves. I mean, historical data that you look at, Lady Trader. You reference it all the time, but I'm overall feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Deep in deployment business is still chugging along too, making money. So we're all good.
Yeah. No, absolutely makes sense. I mean, Deepen is gonna be phenomenal for the next bull market. So I'm super excited for that. I wanna So if you guys want to share, like, I don't know, William, if you'll be sharing any charts at all. Kelvin, if anyone wants to share, your charts, definitely you're welcome to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick here. I do want to talk a little bit about what's been happening and what happened overnight. I know a lot of us were in different setups, different trades
Mm-hmm.
overnight. There was some pretty awesome price action. And so I want to go over this a little bit. I know Bits of Wealth will be joining us here very soon as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to bring up this screen here. Perfect.
Beautiful.
So really what happened overnight, we had a beautiful price action. Solana, as you guys know, was something that we were all watching. We were also looking at the daily setup, right? And what we did say for Solana was that if the price does come back down, like if it does take these lows here and then has a nice volume coming in or smaller time frames that we will be going long. And so quite a few of us actually did go long. I did take a long position on this one because it was at the extremes, and the setup looked beautiful. There was a nice volume as well that was coming in around this level. And so my entry was somewhere around here, $118. And then of course my stop loss was super tight around 17.5. Or 117.5, and then I did end up taking my profits here at 126 level, because I do think that one thing that I did call out on these levels is that actually I'm going to start bringing up some of the other people here. Let's see, Bits
Hey
is
guys.
already here.
Yep, I just jumped in.
Hey, okay,
Hey, Bits.
perfect.
What's up, guys?
Hey, so one thing that I am kind of watching is one level, 115 is a key level, which I did not test that level. So I am wondering if the price is going to go back down there. But this is one level, of course, that I'm also watching, which is 119, maybe 120, to see if this level will hold and maybe give us a nice bullish setup here. So of course, bullish setup here, possibly, right? No, nothing is there yet. There is no confirmation yet. We'll be waiting for those confirmations, or at 115. So I'll be watching those levels on Solana. But that was a beautiful trade if you took it. Also, there were some beautiful setups on Bitcoin and Ethereum, pretty much all across the board. I know Bits took Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana long. I was only Solana long, and then quite a few other people in the community also took these long positions. So really beautiful setups. I know some of you are also shorting up here. This is a valid setup though, but just a lot of EMAs. Of course, now the price is under the EMA. So watching, I do have also a very small short position off of this level where I did kind of exit and took my profits. I did take a small position of the short to see if we could maybe run it down here or to 115. So this is just going to be a fun little trade to be in. I've already hit my 1-to-1 on this one, and so I'm that's one trade that I'm in right now, and I'll be closing if I see any kind of bullish momentum coming in, because we are at a key level right now. One thing that I also called out during Wolf Spaces was this little candle that we saw during the New York session, right at open, right at the crossover from Europe to New York. What I was thinking is that because the price didn't really have a meaningful run after that, it retraced, that we were going to take out the stops of everybody who went long here, and then maybe we could see some upside, and it has happened already. So this was pretty awesome. But overall, as you guys know, I do follow historical data, so my bias is still short. So I'm definitely targeting some of these levels to the downside, right? Overall, any kind of bounces we get are not going to be meaningful. They're not going to be, sustaining long term. We could go, to 102, 100, even 96K. I just don't think it's viable to make another all-time high according to historical data. We are going to be probably crashing down pretty significantly, and then hopefully bottoming out probably around 37 to 40K level. That's what I'm watching. And that's going to take, of course, a whole year until next October. And we can talk about historical data as well at some point, where, I kind of show you where, what has happened in the past. You could also take a look at it, of course. But I'm going to go ahead and bring some of the other speakers up here. We have a really nice panel. We have Bits of Wealth with me today. We have Kelvin. We have William from Wolf Crypto. Bits, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic and screen on to you. If you want to talk about the trades that you're in currently, are you getting any short setups right now? What are you looking at in the markets, and how are you planning on being in the markets over the weekend?
Yeah, give me a sec here, and I'll pull up a screen because I had to reboot everything. My computer and my internet was kind of funky. But let me see here. Window, trading view. There we go.
And yep, go ahead.
That should throw it up here.
Yep.
And then let me go to trading view. So yeah, I still have long positions off of the lows from yesterday, and I'm holding those for now. I did TP heavily into this here. Started taking profit actually around here yesterday, and then went again this morning at this level up here at the weekly. I don't see anything quite broken yet, so I'd say that right now it's still within this range. Like all we really did was reclaim this range here, right? We're still kind of inside this range. So I still think towards the bottom of the range, I'm probably going to be looking for long opportunities, and towards the top, I'll be getting out of those longs and potentially flipping short. The I think the overall bias for me at these levels, though, like if I do zoom out, although there is plenty of room to the downside for price to come and take some of these levels that it previously set, it just makes a lot of sense to me that there is a potential for us to push higher here. If we can reclaim this like 90K zone here, then again, my eyes kind of come back up to like 100 to 106, somewhere in there, maybe even as high as like 110 is probably where I'd be looking. So, and I think this is kind of in line with, what Calvin talks about quite a bit, which is that bull trap. I just can't really see if we come down lower, then what's the bull trap? I mean, like 90K becomes the bull trap. 90K just doesn't sound exciting to me. I would think that there's a lot more psychology around 100K. If BTC gets back above 100K, I can see the bull post. I can see the bear mockery. I can see the back over 100. We're going to 150, 200 this next leg up. I can see that there. I don't know that I see it at 90K. And then there's also too many people right now that that are talking about, a move to 75 or a move back below 80. And I don't trade that sentiment or that like herd mentality, because you still have to trade what's in front of you on the chart. But I do take it into account, and I do at least consider it and say, okay, if everyone that up here was calling so much higher is now down here calling so much lower, do I think that that's going to happen? Again, if all the people that up here said we were going so much higher are now down here saying that we're going so much lower, do I need to take that seriously? And for me, the answer is no. For me, the answer is I need to be on the other side of that. I need to be on the other side of the KOLs. I need to be on the other side of all these perma bull accounts that are now turned perma bears. And there's probably something happening here that's going to fake out most of the people that are looking and expecting for significantly lower. That's not to say that it can't come down here. It absolutely can. I would just say at this point, I feel like it's going to be the a potential front run, just like we saw back here. Like we saw the same thing in April of this year, where everyone was saying, okay, we got to go like 68 to like 70K, because this is where it was obvious. This is where you had all this prior structure. I think there was like maybe even like fib levels or something. There was something else down here, but there was a lot of confluence for lower, and BTC said, nope, it front ran that entire, because this was too obvious. Everyone was looking down here. It was too obvious. The market won't give everyone the best entry when everyone's expecting it, right? It's just not going to happen. So I feel like we're kind of in a similar situation here where, yes, like the down here are much better moves for potential swings higher. I just don't think you're going to get it. I don't think we're going to get it right now. I think this is potentially front running, and I'm okay if I'm wrong with that. I mean, I don't hold this like where it's such a strong conviction that I'm unwilling to like pivot if something happens, and I'm going to start mocking everyone because, like it's not how I'm thinking about it. I'm just trying to be very like neutral and stoic about the fact that although there are reasons that we could come lower, I feel like we're going to do something like that next. And then our bull trap will be somewhere up here in this neighborhood. And then potentially after that, we get that continuation down if it's going to continue down. So with that, if I'm looking for a bounce on BTC and I'm trying to keep kind of a short-term bull bias, then I'm also kind of playing the rest of the alt market the same way, right? So whether it's ETH, whether it's Sol, Sol specifically, I've been super bearish on Solana off of the highs, and I actually was very public and open about exiting up here at 250. That at 250, I was out of all of Sol ecosystem. I was holding nothing else, and it's coming back down, right? And it would be silly of me, I think, at this point to be mega bearish here. Where the place to be mega bearish was up there, right? So here I'm just seeing a historical level where price has found support in one way or another. Although this could roll over, right? Like I don't disagree that this is not looking great, and if it loses this level here, like there's some scary numbers to the downside. But I'm playing it level by level, and I'm being respectful of the fact that this is a high time frame support zone. So somewhere in here, anywhere in there, I'm okay with bounces. I'd love an opportunity to short it up here at like 160. If we get an opportunity to short at 200, I don't think we will, but if we did, I would take that as well. But 160, I think would be a beautiful place to pivot short.
Yeah, 165 was actually a level that I was watching yesterday. I'm like, if it does cross that 130, we are definitely going to target that 150 and 160. One thing about Solana also, like, if you look at the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up my screen here real quick,
Yeah, go
because
for it.
this is also important to mention. But really, one thing that I'm watching right now on Solana. So if you look at the price, the way that reading price action is important, right? Reading candles and reading price action is super important because they tell you a story. And what's happening right now is you could see that price is just basically doing this, right? It's basically just creating these A patterns, right? And so it's done it here and then here. So of course, the anticipation is that it's going to do the same thing here. But again, it has done it too many times. So it could change, change the pattern here, right, at some point. But really what I'm looking for here is now that we've seen that this is what the price is doing, what I want to see is I want it to clear this, right? Because what you're seeing is lower lows. So definitely wanting price to kind of create a higher low somewhere maybe here, and then of course the higher high. But once it clears this level, this 129, 130, then we can definitely start looking for some long opportunities. But this is important to understand, because right now we are in a very clear A pattern, in the market for Solana. So you could anticipate that maybe this is going to play out exactly the same way. Maybe we create another lower low here, but again, it's kind of getting exhausted right here. So I'm more cautious. Of course, I do have a short position, like I said, on this one right now. But again, very, very cautious with this, because right now is really, you should be looking to buy. My only concern was that it did not hit 115, and so that was really the only thing that made me basically take profit up here. So yeah, that's something I wanted to call out. I do see, Bad Price is having so many issues today. It says they'll need to connect their mic and camera before you can add them to the stream. So I guess.
Yeah, that means he needs to give it browser permission. He needs whatever browser he's using. There's usually like a little pop-up that says allow your mic and your and your webcam. And I think if he has previously denied those permissions, he might have to go into the settings and like reset it for StreamYard if he's ever hit no. Otherwise, it's gonna keep doing that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm gonna send him a message. When I talk to him, I'm gonna actually bring up Kelvin. Kelvin, if you wanna, do you have anything that you wanna add to the conversation? To, you have any charts that you wanna show us, or what you're looking for in the markets right now?
Well, sure. I can kind of give you my kind of long-term perspective. I like the way Bits trades. I think those levels are really solid, and I like his kind of go against the herd mentality. I'm just going to put some patterns that I like to see up. Let's see, how do I do this? Let's see.
Here, I'll add your chart to stage because I see you've got it queued up down there.
Okay. What do I do? I don't know how to do this.
No, you're good, man.
Okay. Well, this is so I like to start big. This is the entire history of Bitcoin, and it's on the monthly chart. And this is kind of the I like to use averages just to kind of see how things play. It's a little bit different than the way Bits does his thing, but there are a lot of just kind of interesting patterns that happen on. I look at the 9 versus the 20 on the monthly chart, and just looking at a lot of prior, when we're going from a bull market to a bear market, there's a little bit of play between this 9 and the 20. A lot of times there's a retrace back up to the 9 with a rejection on the monthly. So that happened here. There's kind of a squeeze here. I mean, this might have been the rejection up here, and then we go down. And then in the more recent times, we found support on the 20, rejected on the 9, and then that's when our bear market was in full force. And I'm kind of expecting the same thing. What's odd about this is that we have our 9 still positive. In fact, this month's 9 is higher than our prior. So we're still trending upwards. So we're not even rolling over yet, which gives us a lot of room to run. But I feel like we'll probably get back up to this 9, which is at 103,000 or something like that within the next month or two.
Perfect. That would be the perfect level to get back to.
Yeah. So this really goes along well with what Bits was saying. When I go to weekly and move out, I've kind of created my own indicator, and it kind of goes. The green zone is where you have price on top. You have the 50, the 100, and the 200, and the 50 and 100 are both sloping upwards. So you're in full-fledged bull market when you're in a green zone, and the green zone ends when you lose the 50 because our pattern has been broken. So this was sort of the nail in the coffin in 2014. This was the nail in the coffin in 2018, and this was wild in 2020 because we had a COVID crash and things, so it interrupted our kind of bull move originally. But with a little fake out here, the nail in the coffin was right here. And so
once it loses that, Calvin, it doesn't go back above it, huh? Like I'm not. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Chart, yeah.
So that's why I was so adamant that when we lost this 50, that we were toast. Well, if you zoom out and look, you can kind of see how when we lose that 50, there's usually a rejection on the underside of it. So you can see it happening multiple times. This one wasn't quite
that
so
is wild.
Yeah, I mean it really is. And so then here, this is 2022. We lost it, found support on the 100. Here was our rejection off of the underside of the 50 on the weekly. And so what do you think I'm looking for this time around? Exactly.
I think you're looking for us to go to 1 million, Calvin, over in a God.
I just have stars in my eyes and moon on my feet, man. So this 50, which I expect that we'll come up and reject off of the underside of it, is at 101.7 right now. So this coincides with our monthly 103-ish. This is almost 102. By the time we get there, it'll be probably 101, maybe 100,000. So I'm watching patiently here. So this gets a little tricky because a couple of weeks ago, we had a kind of an interesting support off of the 100. Lovely reversal doji, and it looked pretty good. Well, on the daily, you could tell that it was rolling over. So I have my indicator that I wrote, even though I'm on the daily chart, it still shows where the weekly 100 and the weekly 50 are on my daily chart.
Yeah, they're fixed.
Yeah. So these, you can see how just today, like last night and today, we have found support off of the 100 intra-week. So where I got nervous was where, and I think you guys will all just immediately make fun of me, but I'm drawing a sloped line.
Nice.
But this
don't let Joe Carlosari see you drawing lines, man. He'll have some words to say about you.
Yeah, so I kind of felt like this was our breakdown right here. And this breakdown right here is probably our sweep of the lows. And often when
if you do it off of the wicks as well, I think you actually got a perfect touch with that other wick on the right side. If you grab the wicks and drew a trend line, you'd probably get a nice
like right here.
Yeah, pretty close. Yep, similar. Yeah.
So, crazy. But either way, we've had an extremely dynamic selling climax right here. No recovery, no chance for bulls to exit. There was no great place for bears to even start their short. Like there was no safe entry point all the way from the top of this, which was 107,000 all the way down to 80. So that is a brutal move. Well, when this happens, there's a lot of emotional psychology that happens. People, are trying to finally find an entry point, and this ended up being the entry point. Well, if everyone goes long here because they finally can see a wick and they kind of have a decent
yo.
He's
okay,
here.
All right. Sorry, my bad. I just checking my mind.
Just jumps in whenever, huh?
Yeah, no, I didn't even know. It's because it says, okay, it said I was backstage. I guess I'm on. Yo, I have no idea what the hell that was about. Like, I had to reconnect like 80 times, go to my permission, go in my settings, and everything was right. I have no idea.
That's a lot of mobile. That's a lot of mobile you're running on, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. I
Yo,
think
Calvin,
it's because I don't have a camera hooked up, I think.
Nah, well, maybe. Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, I had to go turn it off in permissions. Gotcha. I had to turn the camera. Right. I think that might have been it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Calvin, there's also a yearly anchored VWAP at 99,699 on the Binance chart. So there's also another, dude. I mean, I just think there's a lot of confluence around like that 100K
there's a
zone.
ton.
And the question is though, like, do you think it's gonna be, when you say we're gonna go back and retest that, is that like just a touch of it where it doesn't exceed that, or do you think do you think it would be it's a low probability that we would get a wick above it, like as a fake out that maybe doesn't close on a weekly or even on a daily, or something like that? Yeah, something like that. Like, could we?
I gotta get off of my paintbrush here.
Okay, drawing lines. Don't be drawing.
Yeah, lines. So this is the last one. So look how we ranged. Really, we crossed the 50-day all over the place. We stayed well above the 100 week though, and then we did get some action above. Of here. I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, but
how does that look on the weekly though? Was it just like a touch on the weekly?
It was there was a full let's see.
Oh no, it
was right here.
Yeah, I went above it. Yeah.
So we had a close above it, like the body was above right here. Okay. So this was tricky back in the day for me, at least. And then it fell apart. Yeah, and then
so we could go, even 107 on an extension. I think like it could go up 105, 106, 107. Like
and in fact, I almost expect that because there's going to be so much hype and so much excitement.
Yes,
there are going to be people that were either sidelined or skeptical.
Yeah,
because people are more educated, right? So there's going to be there are going to be a lot more side fence sitters. And once we get above this 50, I'm betting we could even run to 110 or 115. It'll be tricky, but I absolutely think it's bearish. It's the exit. This is where I'm exiting. But honestly, this is how I made my trades. I started shorting right here, all up in this area, knowing that we were getting really close to losing this 50. And then my long buy was right here. I put it right at 83 because of the weekly. And so I put a giant order right here. When it started rolling over, I bailed at about 90.
You paper-handed.
I totally paper-handed.
Calvin.
But I've replaced my 50% of it as long already. So I'm already back. And the question that remains, and this is the tough part, is do we have to sweep this wick before we turn around? Or is this 100 holding? And
I think it's gonna hold, man.
We're starting to like round out a little bit. So I needed a 50% long to ensure that I'm in, because it might hold for this next little bit. I don't know.
I was on team sweep the leg initially, right? Like on Karate Kid. Like I thought that was gonna happen. They were gonna sweep the leg, and then we've been hanging out here way too long, and I'm like, nah, it would be too obvious. It's given too many people an opportunity, and too many people are then having that expectation of I'm gonna bid as soon as I get that sweep. I think it's gonna leave all those people sidelined, but I could be wrong. So, it feels like that would make sense.
Here's the 4-hour chart, and so see, this is this is the same thing that happened on the daily, where we hit a bottom and then we got really volatile, And the volatility in the price action kind of tells that the bearish movement is over. Like you've kind of, the bulls are gaining strength and the bears are losing their minds, so that's where we're going here. Well, if I zoom in onto the 4 hour, we're having that exact experience right here. We've had long moves up, long moves down, up, down, up, down, and that's at the end of this move. So I'm feeling like this move is actually, wimping out. I'm betting we're about there. We're about ready to turn this over on the 4 hour. If we get some closes above the 50, the 100, and the 200, which are actually very close, like that's only a move to like 90. If we can get 90 to hold, we're going to start testing our 50-day, and then we'll have a little bit more action up here, I'm betting, and then we'll come back up and probably test the weekly. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in this chart, and I'm just watching averages.
Good stuff. Man, I like that we all have different methods, Lady Trader. Like everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but there's confluence.
Absolutely. There's, talking about confluence, I was actually going to talk about this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and share something, and this is going to be what you were talking about, Kelvin. Like I could see something that is going to be, this is so important. So on daily chart, and I've talked about it on my live streams before with bits, but what we say, the death cross, when you have like 50 and 200 that are crossing over. Once it crosses over, everybody's like, death cross, let's just go short.
Everyone panics.
And then exactly. And really, what actually ends up happening is every time this death cross happens, price always retests at least one, if not both of the EMAs, which again puts us right at that, one or like really anywhere from 94 to that 102K level, which is really what I'll be watching, for price to actually do. Historically, it has done the same thing. You have to go back to the first death cross of every bear market. Don't look at the second, don't look at the third. So like if I am going back, I'm just going back to what happened in 2021. Once we created a top, we had a death cross. What actually ended up happening after the death cross, right? We had the price that went back to this 50 EMA and then also above the 200 EMA. So I'll be expecting something similar to happen. I mean, you could go back even further and look at some of the other bear markets, and it was very similar. It's not always going to be the 200, but it's pretty likely that we could see that happening, right here. So I think we are all on the same page as far as, we all have our confluences with different methods, right? We are coming to the same conclusion that at some point we are going to be hitting these levels and then crashing. Of course, that's the case. That's how it's going to be. But is it going to take down these levels or even this one? At least this one, I would say, if not this, before it does all of this. Because if you see, Solana has already done the liquidity sweep to the lows. Is Bitcoin and Ethereum, are they going to do the same thing? So yeah, that's something that I wanted to share.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. I mean, I'm going to sound kind of like a broken record because I agree with all of you. So, but I'll show you from the Ichimoku point of view. I use Ichimoku Cloud, so I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but this is the weekly on Bitcoin. Basically, the conversion line past the baseline here, right around what time is that? My computer is just like lacking out so bad. Believe that was early January, maybe even before. Oh no, that's not early January. Sorry, that's November. My bad. I'm super tired. Anyways, I don't know if you guys ever use Ichimoku, but the way you read it here is when we're in this cloud area. This cloud's kind of a forward-looking indicator. The wider it gets, you're going to have a lot more momentum. So the wider the green cloud gets on the way up, that means there's a lot more bullish momentum hitting. But as you can see on the forward-looking indicator, it's tightening up here right now. So a lot of the bullish momentum has died down. We're tightening up a little bit, looking like we might cross into a red cloud. To zoom out here, that's what a red cloud looks like for anyone that doesn't understand Ichimoku. So that's the first sign that, okay, maybe, we're not going to be running back up past 100, 110 and holding on to that momentum there. Second kind of indicator there with the conversion line passing the baseline, it's always a bearish indicator. When we had this blue line here cross this red line on the downside, that's a massive bear indicator, signaling that a change in direction is more than likely going to happen. And now that we have the price inside the cloud, we can use the cloud as kind of a form of support or resistance here. This now we're in kind of this contentious area. So we have two, bearish indicators. We're inside this cloud here, which is not bullish nor bearish, but it signals that if we break this cloud, like let's say, we break on the downside here, that's a massive bearish indicator. So for kind of I'm trying to think of the right wording here. I'm basically bearish on Bitcoin in the long term here. Very, very bearish. Like you guys said, we had this like kind of, my chart's not even like moving around that much. I'm so sorry here. So 97,000 to 100,000 is kind of where the top of this cloud is here. So we do have a run up in Bitcoin here, like a temporary one. I could easily see the price kind of staying within this cloud here on the weekly, running up to around that like the 97 to 100,000 range, and then possibly facing a ton of rejection if we can't build up some more bullish momentum here. But even zooming into the daily to kind of get get a close up. I don't like going in further on the Ichimoku here because it gets less and less reliable as you zoom in to like the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute. I typically like to keep it to the weekly, to the daily, in maybe the 4 hours sometimes. But even on the daily, it's looking pretty rough. Like, as you can see, we have a lot of bearish momentum built up here. We have this massive red cloud build up, acting as a massive resistance for the price action. Conversion line crossing the baseline back here a couple of times before we broke through the cloud up here, which, as you can see, it dipped down tremendously after that right here, and even past the 233 EMA that I use. Don't ask me why I use 233. It's very arbitrary, very superstitious with my friends. We kind of joked around about this a bit ago, and it seems to work a little bit. So we use it. I use it to trade. It's made me some money. So that's why I use 233. It's not for everyone, of course.
Calvin says the 69,420 EMA is the best one.
Exactly. Everyone's got their own EMA. Everyone's got their own EMA. So I'll just let it be
a snowboarder move.
Exactly, snowboarder move. But yeah, as you can see, we've stayed below the conversion line. Has stayed below this baseline in this entire time. We got a little fake out right here. If I zoom in, it broke across the baseline, faked us out. We had a little bit of bullish movement there. Then we swiftly got rejected by the cloud right there, and now it's signaling again on the daily that we have the conversion crossing the baseline, showing bearish price action here. And the bearish cloud, this red cloud, is widening, indicating that there's a ton of bearish momentum happening right now. So I think we are easily likely to push down further, but we could see some price action on the upside. Like you guys said, anywhere from like 90 to 100K seems reasonable to me. We could even enter the cloud here briefly and then get rejected by that. But overall, I'm pretty bearish on Bitcoin. But I want to share my screen over here to my DPIN page here. Let's go here. I would show you guys charts, but the DPIN charts look horrible, just like every other altcoin. So I'd rather look at the bullish fundamental indicators for DPIN. As you can see, the revenue column here, the 30-day annualized revenue. I can't show you a comparison, but these are all up from their all-time highs last year. I believe helium last year was sitting around like 10 million, maybe even less, towards like 7 million. We're now at $20 million annualized revenue. So that has been steadily increasing this entire time. GeoNet is in the same boat here. That's this one right here. They were at, I think, $600,000 of 30-day annualized revenue back in 2024, maybe 2023. But now we're approaching about 7.2 million, I think, is projected towards the end of January next year. 2026. So all in all, DPIN revenues have been climbing. Usage has been climbing. The number of hotspots have been climbing. The token prices, however, look horrific. I will say the best way to get involved in these is to just become part of the network, earn some passive income, some passive revenue. I've been saying that over and over on these spaces and on this live stream here. But yeah, very reliable revenue source. Just not good to trade the token unless you want to be Calvin. I know Calvin mentioned he would short the hell out of these, and I don't blame him. You'd make a lot of money. So shorting the token itself, probably a good idea, but getting involved in the network, installing some helium hotspots here, still a good idea. You're still making money.
So these tokens, they mainly struggle. Correct me if I'm wrong, William, but it's mainly because of the fact that the rewards are paid out in that native token, right? And then people sell that to realize the revenue. Is that
So
correct?
So you have this kind of like twofold system happening where you have rewards being distributed in the token for your payment for being involved in the network. So you have that emission schedule, but then these DPIN networks, what they've done, and especially recently, is take that revenue that they're earning in cash and then they take that cash and do an open market buy and then buy back those tokens as a bid pretty much every day and then burn those tokens out of circulation. So right now, helium is net deflationary. So their emission schedule is lower than their burn rate. Their burn rate's much higher.
Where does their revenue come from?
It comes from AT&T and T-Mobile buying data credits. So AT&T will buy data credits in the open market. And then they'll take those data credits and burn them when their customers use the helium network, which is every single day.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they have, they have a real product market fit there. But the problem with DePIN right now is no one's figured out tokenomics. Like, first off, it was building the supply up. That was the first problem that DePIN had. We have supply built up. Supply is still building up rapidly. Next was demand. Demand was a huge issue. Now we have a ton of demand coming into these networks. So we got both those problems solved. Massive rising supply, massive rising demand as well. That's outpacing supply in some cases for some DePINs. But now the third problem has hit us, and that is, how do we accrue this value to the tokens, right? There's been a lot of ideas suggested. There's a couple of DePINs trying stablecoin payments out. Because there's this idea that once a DePIN reaches a certain maturity, they can stop emitting tokens and stop paying out in tokens and start paying out in stables, because now they have revenue coming in to pay their contributors with the stables. So there is an idea floating around there. It hasn't been implemented on a massive scale yet. We're kind of seeing if it works out with a couple of DePINs. But all in all, the revenue is still there. My hotspots are still earning a ton of money right now. It just sucks because I'm a cash flowing business, right? I have to sell these tokens to pay off my bills, pay my taxes, pay my hosts. And so I'm of the mind that stablecoin should be implemented at some point. That's my personal opinion, but there's a lot of running around there. That's pretty much my DePIN take, the DePIN corner here on FOMO Friday.
Good stuff, man.
That's awesome. Really awesome stuff. Thank you so much, William, for going over that. I want to bring up Bad Price as well. I know he's up here with us finally, so I'm going to bring Bad Price up. I'm also going to add his chart. Price, go ahead.
Price said he's got an Ichimoku currently, and he's trying to look for some kind of ointment to put on his Ichimoku.
Nice. Hey, I like Ichimoku. I know people talk shit. I like it. All
right. Got jokes. It's with the jokes. All right. We talking Bitcoin? Is that what we're talking?
We're talking whatever you want to talk about, man.
Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk some Bitcoin first.
Yeah.
So this has been the range we have been in right here, right? Forever now. Pretty boring, but this is what I like. Like, I always talk about this. Price just pretty much plays from range to range, right? Like, that's all we do. It's just range to range to range to range. So yeah, it's always good to mark past ranges, for reference. But here we are. So I like to, trading in general can be complicated. I like to try to keep it as simple as possible. So getting something that is complicated and simplifying it, I think there's an art to that. So basically, all I really do is so I look at this as like a bell curve, right? I want to get in when the market is kind of in balance zones, right? So we have value area high, value area low, yellow dotted lines, point of control. Anyone that doesn't know how to use a fixed range indicator, go do a little learning, start using it. They're great. So really, I'm just looking to long when price is extended under the value area low. I'm looking to short when it's extended above. That's where I find my edge. And then obviously I go down to my indicators. I like money flow, top panel, and momentum panel under that. And I got a bunch of other things on here, whatever. But these are my two main go-tos. And the most important for me is money flow, right? Obviously. So pretty much what I'll be looking for is when we're above value area highs, I'll be looking at lower time frames. I want to see money flow kind of, trending down or topped out, right? Flushed out. I want to see like overbought signs, all of that. Another thing I'll be looking for is for momentum to be dying down. So momentum to be printing lower highs, right, on the upside. And as you can see, anytime we're extended and we get lower high, some divergence, it's made for a nice short. Anytime we're overextended to the downside, Same thing. We have a deep wave followed by a higher low, right? Like right here, boom, boom, made for a nice long. So to keep things simple, that's pretty much how I like to trade. And again, we've just been chopping around. I took a long down here. And I think I got stopped out a little while ago in some decent profit. So can't complain. But that's how this market's been lately, right? It's just been a bunch of chop. And as you can see, by me avoiding trading the fair value, which is everything between value area high and value area low, that's just pretty much all fair value. By avoiding that, I tend to stay out the chop. So usually, when price is in fair value, I'm usually already in a trade, and I'll just be waiting for price to make its range to the top or whatever to get extended again to hedge, right? So if I'm in a long here, obviously I'll be hedging that long up here, and eventually that will probably get stopped out. My long will get stopped out, my short will run, right? Then it just comes down to trade management. So yeah, overall, that's where I'm at. So I've been talking about on Spaces a lot, is I would like to see these longs down here kind of get taken out. I think we kind of need that if we really want to see higher prices, right? Like if we really want to break out, because we've built up just a ton of resistance above us, right? So in my opinion, if we really want to cut through that, we're going to need a massive short squeeze. And right now we still have a ton of longs that are sitting comfy down here. And, people jump in and they think they might be in a forever long. So they're still a bunch of longs that are just chilling.
I'm in
like
forever
to see
longs.
those get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you? Are you, Bits?
I'm definitely in forever longs.
Are you in leverage forever longs right now?
Yeah, exactly.
He's absolutely not. Not too many people are right now, but yeah, I would like to see these get taken out. And you'll also notice, like if I were to go to look at some order books like a Trading Light or Exo Charts or Book Maps, any of those, when price action gets down there, for whatever reason, man, it's always like clockwork. You'll just see a bunch of shorts jumping in, right? They love to do that. They love to jump in on the lows. So that's just another thing I look at, obviously, is like funding rates, short interest, right? And I'm looking for those imbalances. I'm looking for there to be a lot of shorts that get in on the lows and then get trapped, right? So overall, that's kind of my philosophy in trading. And I just try to play things level by level. To me, that's, the best way of playing the market. Like I got out of a lot of my spot bags up here. Me and I think Calvin, yeah, we did a live stream a while ago, and pretty much that's what I was talking about, is up here getting out of most of my spot holdings, right? Like I just saw a lot of bearish divergence coming in. Money flow started trending lower, even though price continued to move higher, and that's never sustainable. And it played out nice, as we see, we've just pretty much come straight down. But overall, I think we're a bit extended. I think we can expect some kind of at least dead cat bounce that actually has some legs on it, right? And that's pretty much overall what I'm looking at. I'm looking for one of these higher levels to get hit, and I'll be piling in shorts, because overall, I think that's what's going to happen, is a short squeeze to pretty much a bull trap.
So do you think we take the longs before a short squeeze, or do you think we're going to leave them there for a little bit later?
What do you mean take the longs?
Yeah, below. Like, do you think that we're more likely
sweeping the lows? You're saying?
Yeah.
If we're going to sweep the lows.
Well, I'm asking, right? Like, do you think there's a higher probability that we take the lows, or that we leave them there and go higher without them?
Well, when I look at like momentum right now, like on the daily, we can see it's starting to round off, right? So it looks like we're about to print a higher low on the daily. However, it's still not rounded off yet. So it could take some time to play out. Like, I say within the next week or so, we'll have the answer to that. But I could easily still see price coming down and knocking out the lows while this is starting to round off, right? Money flow still doesn't look great, like especially on these higher time frames. Like when I go to the weekly, right, and just looking at it, like money flow just doesn't look good. These are two different weighted money flows, by the way, but regardless, it doesn't look great on the higher time frames. 3-day, kind of shows you it's just kind of trending down still. So that's one reason why I don't think we'll get momentum on 3 days. Interesting too. You can see it's starting to try to round out here to put in a
that's that higher low, man.
Yeah, put in a higher low. So in other words, momentum's like getting flushed out to the downside is what I'm trying to say overall. Momentum to the downside starting to get flushed out, right? But the money flow just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, no matter really what time frame I look at. So just whenever I see those two things together, it is like, okay, yeah, we could bounce, right? But unless we see a lot of money start coming into the market, I don't know if that bounce will have legs on it, if that makes sense.
Well, I guess my question for you then, Price, would be what do you think about the 40 billion coming in every month from the Fed, like purchasing those T-bills? Is that, I mean, obviously it's not sufficient enough, but it's a start.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of posts on the repo markets, all the swaps that were going on. That's not new liquidity. Any liquidity that is starting to come in is going to take a minute to actually work its way.
Yeah.
Through the system, right? Through risk assets. It's not like, liquidity is now starting to, come back in. And a lot goes into the actual plumbing of that. Like we're going to need a lot of like spending, I need to see that government spending. But regardless, it's not like, okay, liquidity starting to flow back in. So straight to crypto, it goes.
I wish.
Right. You always have that balance between bonds and equities, right? Like whenever you see money coming out of the bond market, it's got to find a home. It's usually flowing into equities and vice versa. There's always that balance going on because that's what big fund managers are holding, right? Like it's always a weighted balance between those two asset classes. And crypto is still just a high risk asset. Right. So the liquidity will always find its way to crypto, after it's kind of flown or, gone through the other streams, right? The other asset classes. So it's always like the excess liquidity will find its way into the crypto market, right? People that are putting in their higher risk plays, but all that comes later.
Mm-hmm.
So it just takes a while for all that to kind of play out, despite what the timeline tells you about like Fed rate cuts or, QE and all of that stuff. These are the same people that got the whole move wrong last time when everyone was talking about inflation's going to run real hot. And you just saw it all over the place. Like, oh, the markets are going to dump. And it's like, actually, no, they're going to pump because all of that is going to boost the price of equities, right? Like really rich, wealthy people hold assets in real estate. Inflation going up helps that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, middle class and poor people hold none. So it's just kind of a transfer of wealth kind of scenario playing out. But anyway, the point is, back when all that was happening, inflation running hot and all of that, markets going down, and the reverse happened. We had a melt up, right? Which, I was on the melt up side during the time. I was like, no, markets are going to melt up. And that's what, markets melted up. So right now, same kind of people are all over the timeline talking QE, Fed rate cuts. But when you actually think about how all of that actually works and is going to play out, it kind of lines up with the whole, cycle theory, right? Like, yeah, that should work its way in by like maybe next October or something, right?
Yeah, but I think all of our points about the market, like kind of maybe starting to get back into the kind of bullish momentum, bullish zone halfway through the year, maybe partway through the year, three quarters of the year in 2026 makes sense, especially when you look at the schedule that we've seen with like the 40 billion entering the treasury market now with the Fed and the rate cutting, scaling back and everything. And like you said, it takes time for all that to enter into the economy, and obviously that we're talking about like the stock market and real estate market, not even the crypto markets, and it has to like kind of trickle its way in there. So I think we are primed for a run up in 2026. Just kind of depends on when. But until then, it's going to be my bear hat is on. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but again, I can totally see some kind of move that would actually have legs. Like when I look at like BNB, I'm looking at BNB right here. Came right down to weekly support zone. I had like dead on it, kind of a cheat code for me. Anyway, but it's looking pretty good. Money flow looks kind of flushed out to the downside. Again, same thing with the daily on momentum is starting to try to round off, which would print a higher low. And it just all kind of makes sense that it paints the picture that I could see a bounce right here, right? But does that mean we're going back up and making new highs? No, I mean, we could bounce, just off eyeballing this thing to like $1,000, 1140 somewhere up in there, just off eyeball. Yeah. So boop, and then back down we go. So
hey man, eyeballing is it's a skill, man. Not a lot of people can. I don't know. Some people's eyeballs must be maybe a little bit skewed.
I need to get mine checked again.
They start seeing some crazy numbers. I'm like, where are you seeing that, man?
It's easily going to hit like 160K, guys. Just wait.
Yeah, exactly.
February 25th. The data says February 21st at 4 p.m.
Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
It's going to melt
faces,
Trey.
It's going to melt faces.
I was just going to say, if I don't know if y'all have looked at the stablecoin dominance chart.
Yeah, I watch it daily.
But we look at it every day. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to find out, man, with that stablecoin dominance if that was it,
Are we bullish on Circle stock yet?
Well, on the daily momentum, we're just rounding off and putting in a lower high on the daily momentum. So we'll see how the
Circle
weekly
stock
closes.
cannot catch a break, bro. Cannot catch a break.
It was too hyped, man. It was I remember here, I'll pull it up too.
Yeah, but, I could pull it up too. I mean, here, I got it.
Oh, you got it? All right, cool.
Yeah, here.
Yeah,
it's just, it looks pitiful, bro. It looks so pitiful. Oh, man. Look at this on the daily.
Let's see. Well, add it to stage. Hold on here. There we go. Got it. Yep.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Yes, dude. I had a call with a friend who he got in on the IPO or whatever it was, right? And
I did too.
Yeah, well, he ended up selling like I think at 140, 150 or something like that.
At the same price I sold, yeah.
And then it went to like 280, I think, or something like that at the high. What was the high that it went to?
High was to almost 300, 290.
Yeah, so it was probably like 270, 280, and he's calling me and he's like, dude, I sold way too early. I don't think I'm ever going to get an entry lower again. I like all of this stuff. And I'm like, dude, you know how these things go, man. Like, it's the same as like the meme coins. It's going to come down. And look at us now.
Yeah. I sold around, I think here, I had to wait 30 days because of the rule. It was like 30 or 60 days, the flipping rule. I didn't want to get flagged, so I just waited. I sold around like 150 though. But yeah, just look at this, man. Widening red cloud here. Yeah, this like kind of fake out cross happening, but there's still just so much bearish momentum on this. don't even know. I mean, their revenue's god awful too. Like they don't. All the deals they made with Coinbase just ruined them.
Yeah,
literally. Oh,
This is awesome. Thank you. This makes it so much easier. Just kind of putting chart to what we are discussing makes it a lot easier.
yeah.
I am looking at the charts right now. It seems like we are finding support on M15 200 EMA for pretty much all across the board on different pairs right now. So this is going to be very interesting. Maybe we could see some momentum here, some volume coming into the buy side. Let's see if we can get above that 90K today. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's looking pretty interesting to me. It is also right now. The timing is pretty awesome as well for a reversal, and so like as you can see here, I'm watching this M15. We are right at 200 EMA, kind of setting this up. Also, remember this 50 EMA was not actually retested when the price crashed under it, and so most likely we are headed back up there to retest and maybe even find support here. So very interesting price action right now. Also, I'm seeing something similar in Solana. Of course, it's kind of rejecting here, but this is also like a neck of the M pattern that it created earlier from the New York session, but it is finding support here at 200 EMA. So definitely watching some good stuff happening. I am, again, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be looking for some setups here maybe, or even lower potentially if we do take out that 83K, the liquidity that's sitting right here. If we can take this out, maybe I think it would create a good setup. And then, of course, we have some good levels to the downside. But going into the weekend, like Bits mentioned, we may be like, this probably was the week, the low of the week. So that may be it. We'll just have to see, I guess, how it plays out. Bits, how are you feeling about the intraday chart right now?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little bit of a move back up here, and I'll pull mine up really quickly. Let me see here. Add to stage. How do I do this? There we go. Yeah, I do think across the board we're probably going to pull back back up, I guess, from this move down here a little bit. I don't know if the downside is done here though. Like I'm looking at a lot of these that left these big gaps like this. So
Yeah,
I think potentially what we see is maybe something like that. And then, sometime tonight or over the weekend, like we get this move down here. And then I think we'll I don't know how deep this will go. It could go. I mean, this could even go down as low as like this daily open here. This little gap here in the profile. This is kind of where I would say like below that is where I'm no longer looking for any kind of bounces here at that point. But above that, I think that even if this came and did something like that, like it could be setting up still for that next move up. Again, the hard part is really guessing how deep this move is going to come back. Like it could come down as deep as this and still be a higher low here and still be a reclaim of this range after a deviation below. And then that could be the move that sends us higher, but it also may not come that deep. It could maybe just have one more leg down and then do something like that. And then it just comes here and feels like 50% of this. And then it's off and away. Right. But to me, yeah, it feels like, I don't know that I'm ready to buy here yet. I would want to add to my positions if it comes down a little bit below this. Like I'd say below 86, I'd start to maybe get interested again here. At least below like 86.5. So we'll see if we get that. Same with Sol. Like Sol is showing a little bit more strength. This one I think could maintain maybe above here, above this like 120, 121 to 122. It might hold above that. Like this was the trade I took. So obviously I've got plenty of room there if it wants to pull back a little bit more. Again, though, that yellow dotted line, the reason I say that it could come back down there, that yellow dotted line was this low back here from November 21st. So that was kind of the absolute bottom of that floor here. So I think as long as it's holding above that, I think it's probably okay. Let me hide this. So this could just
we got a new moon, I think tonight.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're in a bear trend, new moon. Let's see how it plays out.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But like something like that, I'd be okay with something like that. That still comes down, confirms that this is actually now going to hold a support. So we'll see. Doesn't have to do that. This could just rip. But I'm always like, at least lately, I feel like I'm always kind of leaning a little bit skeptical of all the moves, and I'm like, like I like to wait and just get that full confirmation. So, I'm watching Aster, by the way, and this is also why I think there could still be a little bit more to the downside. I'm not in an Aster trade. I would like to be in an Aster trade if this comes down a little bit more. So here on the 15-minute, we did get above this structure now, right? So we've got a higher and a close above that. So higher high and a close. So if this pulls back, I mean, if anywhere down here, even below this little bit of accumulation here, if it wicks down there, like I would love to take that trade on Aster. I think a lot of people are probably going to miss that. The reason I want to get it up here to where I'm targeting is that's just where this prior structure is right here. Right. So it's not, this is not even like taking it back into like highs or anything like that. It's kind of more of like a mean reversion. I just want to take it back to a prior floor. And, that's still a monster trade though. It's still very nice. So if I get that opportunity today or tonight, I think if it pulls back a little bit more, I'll start building a position here, probably below this like 69. Funny that it's right at 69, but that's below that is kind of where I start to get interested. And then I'm looking at volume profile. I'd say I want to stay kind of above that. So this may be where I'm like, this is kind of the line in the sand where it's like, below that, I'm not interested. Above that, I'd be open to maybe something like that, and then seeing if it does a nice big push over the weekend. So Aster's one that I've definitely got on my radar. So there's like a freebie for you guys listening. Watch it below like 69 and see if we
can't spell disaster without
Aster.
69, dude.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. I'm kind of chilling right now. I've got again, like the long positions have just a lot of room. I can't remember if this is the one. Yeah, I think that's the one we took, right? So plenty of room here to profit on it. This thing could come all the way back down to roughly entry, and I'm okay because of the profit I've already taken. So I'm kind of just sitting comfy, waiting on all of these. They could come back down, and it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a big key. That's one thing I've noticed all profitable traders. They have roughly the same kind of trade management. Like it's like, okay, you hit your TP1, you take some profits, you move your stop to break even or slightly above it, to account for any kind of slippage. And then if it round trips, it's like, okay, well, I still got out of there profitable.
Exactly. I mean, look at this XPL one. This one was risky as hell, but I took it. This one's flying, man. So I was waiting on this move down here. I think when I shared it, it was like, let's wait for this wipeout. As long as it stays above this low that it had put in, and it did. It came really close to it. I said, I'm going to take it, and that's the trade. It's now, broken structure there. So even if this pulled back, I'd probably look to add to it, or at least hold the current position. But XPL, we were just talking about it this morning on the space. I think Lisa was asking of why I'm trading XPL. This is why, because when it does these moves, man, it's been down only, but when it does, like up here, this was another one that I took here. Same thing. You had a nice clean low. You remember this one, Lady Trader? It wiped out to the downside. We grabbed it here on this candle after it did that big move, and it flew. It took us to TP almost immediately.
Very quickly. So it was a great trade.
They fly. When they set up, they fly. But you got to be willing, right? You got to be willing to sit through all of this, like between this trade, look at all the waiting we did until we got another one, right? But when they hit,
look at that short though. Like you said on the bounce back.
I should have caught the short, but I missed it.
It didn't. It went right up to where you would expect a rejection. Didn't put in a break structure of a higher high. So printed a lower high and straight down it went.
It's just been funny because and again, like I don't know if it's I don't think it's subconscious. I think I am conscious of it. I'm aware of the fact that I'm leaning bullish at the moment, but even like in our daily trading sessions, like Lady Trader's taking more shorts and I'm taking more longs, and we're kind of balancing out a little bit. But yeah, I've been catching a ton of longs, really great longs, and they're just scalps. I'm not holding anything. I'm not in forever longs, but I'm grabbing them when I can.
Yeah, well, there have been some pretty awesome long setups too. Even, yesterday was a prime example. I mean, textbook patterns pretty much all across the board. Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Solana, Ethereum, that was pretty awesome. I'm looking at still Bitcoin M15. I think what it's going to do, which I've seen it do quite a bit, this is a pretty standard thing for Bitcoin to do, and also other pairs, but basically finding potentially a support here. And also maybe even because it's kind of like setting up for that breakout that we were talking about, right? That maybe we get this above, like this is a classic breakout setup where you get an initial rejection and then poof, you could have this breakout here. So this could be a breakout setup here that's basically brewing. And then what I've also seen it do a lot of times is that on the first move after your bottom is in place, you will find the support over, you not exactly here, but here, finding support at 200 EMA, price will go up significantly, but then it will come back down and take these, hit the stop loss, take these people out, and then create like a pattern, perhaps here or, somewhere around this area maybe. And so I've seen it do it so many times, so I'm definitely watching it. Could be potentially a trade if we could get above this level, maybe with some nice volume coming in. But it's Friday, so it's gonna crawl significantly before it gives you that big pump. Maybe going into the weekend, it will give us that fake weekend pump that we see quite a bit. Those moves are huge though. Like when it runs like crazy. So I wonder if something like that is gonna happen. But yeah, XPL and a few other plays that bits that you've mentioned, I think they've been pretty incredible. But yeah, I think overall markets are looking good. Trader's paradise right now. So many setups. I think Bitcoin is gonna run here bits. I think this could also be like a potentially long setup if if you're not in the markets already, or if you didn't catch that.
Well, I've got exposure if it wants to keep going higher, but I'm on team lower today, lower tonight, and then higher over the next couple
tomorrow.
days. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. This pattern is pretty significant as well, right here. This rejection. So,
but it is like in terms of pattern, it is doing the nice little W looking bottom thing. Like that should rip. I mean, you've got the weekly open at 88,175 on the Binance chart, so at least to there. Even if it doesn't break out higher, at least a move to at least there, I think makes sense.
Yeah, potentially a breakout pattern here is what I'm watching for, because I've seen it do it so many times when it has an initial rejection and then it price basically. This is how you do a breakout trade, right? Like how else would you do it? So
right. Well, if you're right, I'll send you some chart guy tokens, and if I'm right, you're gonna buy some more chart guy tokens.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
What lends strength to Lady Traders? I think I can get behind what Lady Trader is saying, because
Calvin, you're supposed to be
well, no, that we just, if you look at like the 1 hour chart, like she has.
Here, let me switch to yours. Hold on here. Give me 1 second.
1 hour. It's like a very clear breakout setup, right?
But see, look at how we've had this low here and then revisited here, and this was the sweep. Like this.
Well, that's why I took it. Yeah, that's why I took it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we hit the middle and we find support on these, mid-range averages, this 200 has been brutal.
Yeah.
And if
man, that 1 hour FVG though, I mean, it's right there. It's just looking at me, man. Like, I can't ignore the fact that at least a 50% fill would make a lot of sense there.
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of agree. At least there's something.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen
if it goes higher.
Yeah. But as far as the bet goes, bets that you're gonna send me the chart guy tokens and I'm supposed to be chart guy. Like, I take it very professionally, so no betting. That's what you're told.
I do. Someone tried to. It was I can't remember what it was about, but it was someone tried to get me to bet them, and this was on a public public post because I had put up some analysis and they're like, nah, there's no way. I'll bet you 10 ETH right now. And I was like, dude, like, I'm just sharing my opinion. He's like, well, if you know your opinion, like, let's do the bet. And I was like, nah, I can't, because I know myself, and I know that once you get into a bet like that, then you will be unwilling to pivot when the data tells you to pivot, because you're then trying to just stay behind your conviction to not look like you're flip-flopping. So I was like, nah, I can't do that, dude. When I, like, for TA, I have to just be as neutral as possible. I can't have any ego about it. It just needs to be what it is, because I know myself. I know that I can get big-headed. I know that I can get put on blinders and just ignore things. So yeah, that's where I say that from. But but with Chart Guy, we can play around with a little bit of Chart Guy tokens, Lady Trader.
I think it's important to follow, like you said though, Bits. It's like it's so important to be like super technical, methodical, and just like non-emotional. Like make a system, follow the system. It's pretty straightforward, right? Like I literally, as we've been talking, I was in a scalp on MNQ on NASDAQ futures.
Yeah.
And my chart, like the Ichimoku just told me, hey man, get out of this right now. And I was like, all right. And I did. And now sure enough, it's tanking. So made some money. Didn't make as much money as I wanted to, but I followed the system I have and it's paying off. So
dude, that's how it needs to be. 100% is like, that's how it needs to be. It's so funny though, because someone was just commenting earlier to me. Here, I'll put it up on the screen really quickly so you guys can see it. But I think I need to put my screen up. Hold on. I need to get used to. There's probably hotkeys for all of this StreamYard stuff, but
there definitely is.
But yeah, earlier today I said like, yeah, everything should probably be pulling back, and that was earlier this morning. And then this guy's like, yeah, I'm learning, I'm seeing it. He's like, but the way you call it, it's like you're so chill. You're just looking out the window, like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain. But it's like that is how I treat it. Like I really don't have any kind of like need to defend a bias. I don't have an agenda. I'm not doing it for engagement or clout farming or any of that. And so
you're trying to make money.
You can't exactly. Like I'm just focused on that. I'm just like, I just want to get paid, and I don't care if I'm right or wrong. If I have to pivot, it is what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point, right? You can't be emotional about it, which is like, especially when you're at the extreme highs, like we're talking about October 6th and 5th, and we're sitting at 126K and the entire world is telling you it's going to be different this time. And you just follow your system and you're like, get the heck out of the markets now.
Listen to the guy that hasn't made any money in the market, right? He's like, it's going to be different this time.
It's going to be different this time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like negative in the bank account. He's like overdraft. It's going to be different.
No,
it goes to the phrase, good traders, can quickly admit when they're wrong. Great traders can not only admit when they're wrong, but switch sides, on the dime.
Exactly. And I mean, this is the thing too, this, whenever Bits and I, we are live trading, we are like constantly sharing information back and forth. And both of us, like, we want to see from like each other's lenses to see what could potentially go wrong with, like, okay, I'm going to start, I'm going to get into this trade. What is potentially going to go wrong with it? Like I want Bits to call it out, and Bits wants me to call it out if there's something that I'm seeing on the charts. There is no ego like, oh yeah, it's not going to work out that way. Like it's none of that. Good traders always look for different opinions to see where the confluences are and everything. I'd rather and when you're wrong, like let's say if we do create new all-time high, it's gonna be like, yeah, sure, I was wrong, it was different this time, so next time I'm gonna be smarter, right? Because now we have another set of data. But until it it proves me wrong, I'm just gonna follow my thesis, just the way it is. And so and it's so far it's paying out. I mean, how far have we fallen from 126K? $48,000 or something like this when we were at around 80K. And so it usually, when you have a system that works and you just kind of repeat it constantly and you just do the same thing over and over and over again, it may be very boring. It works.
Trading's supposed to be boring. Trading is supposed to be boring. It's not supposed to be like this exciting thing. Yeah.
You think it's not going to be like where we all show up and we're like, all right, let's go, folks. We're going to get into this trade today. And it's going to go to the moon.
If it is, then don't follow those people. If you're watching people like that, stop, because it's going to get real ugly real fast.
Yeah. No, I mean, those when the emotions get involved, it's gonna be. Bits, it's so far doing what I said it was gonna do. The only issue is that it has not retested 200 yet.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to look like it's doing what you think it's doing to
Yeah,
then go the
exactly.
other way. So
That's true.
that's my I may even grab a little head short if it comes up here, just in case my entries don't hold on the downside. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I've got those chart guide tokens ready. We'll see which way it goes.
Okay. Well, no, I mean it is retesting that neck of the M pattern. So you have a point, and also it has not retested 200 EMA. So yeah, anything could happen here. Like you said, it could even come back to this weekly open. You never know.
Yeah.
It just retested 50 EMA as well, rejecting off of that. So let's see.
How's the volume? Let me look at volume actually. Yeah, I mean it's like it's coming up, but it's okay. Well, this actually had a little bit of a push here as soon as it broke above the EMAs on the 5. But again, like it's still, if you look at, like, if we're doing volume analysis, like look at the sell volume on these candles. I would want to see like a buy bar here that is larger than those to signal that there's going to be some momentum to the upside here.
Yeah.
Maybe something like some of these back here could be enough, but something like that would be very telling. If you got a big bar here, so all of a sudden, boom, then yeah, it's like probably going higher.
Yeah. I mean, on hourly bits, I've seen it so many times do this, like a breakout setup. It's like textbook pattern. Of course, it may or may not work out this time, but I've seen it like this is exactly how it does the breakout. This is what it does. It shows you the short position. It shows you, sorry, we rejected, and then it comes back and turns around and hits your stop loss.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I've got no ego in it. If it wants to go higher, we'll make money higher. If it wants to go lower, we'll make money lower.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Let's see how it plays out, though. Very interesting. All right. Well, this was a pretty awesome stream. I guess we will be switching over to FOMO Friday live stream from now on. I hope everybody did take advantage of all of the information that was shared up here today. We have some phenomenal setups really that are brewing in the markets pretty much every single day. If you are not already in Alpha Seedlings, which is our Telegram community, please send me a DM and we'll make sure that you're added so you can join some of the live trading sessions. We are also hosting some of the live trading sessions on X as well, Bits and myself. We will probably be taking most of our days off next week though due to the holidays, but then we will be back again. So I don't know how the holiday market is going to be. Of course, there's always a Santa Claus rally towards the end of the month as well. So that's going to be coming up towards the end of the month that we'll be watching for. So yeah, let's see how everything plays out. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Bits, Kelvin, Bad Price, William, all of you for joining me today. I think I really enjoyed this stream. I think it was a better format than just a Twitter space that we usually do.
It's been fun.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
There we go. Playing with some sounds.
All right.